our last presenter and our speaker of our last session, Alex Stepanchuk from Russia. Uh, I would like to start with that risk implies future uncertainty about deviation from expected earnings or expected outcome. The objective of risk identification is to identify all possible risks, not to eliminate risks from consideration or to develop solutions for mitigating risks. Those functions are carried out during the risk assessment and risk mitigation steps. Risk monitoring and control keeps track of the identified risk, residual risks, and new risks. It also monitors the execution of planned strategies for the identified risks and evaluates their effectiveness. Periodic project risk reviews repeat the process of identification, analysis, and response planning. Alex Stepanchuk is a seasoned professional with over 10 years of experience in IT, international law graduate, specialized in project management, strategic planning, cross-border business development, sales, and legal advice. His unique experience in multiple industries and economy sectors, mainly focusing on international projects, gives him a broader look at any happening. Now, I would like to welcome our honorable speaker, Alex Stepanchuk. He's going to take a session about risk identification, analysis, monitor, and control. He is bringing that to the front. Dear sir, you have 30 minutes. First 25 to 20 minutes is for the presentation, and the last 5 to 10 minutes is for your question and answer. So you can continue your presentation. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Wasifa. Dear ladies and gentlemen, can you please confirm that I'm audible and my presentation is visible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, and as well as your presentation, and you both are visible.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for participation in this event, and thank you for having me here. I guess you heard a lot of pretty useful and interesting presentation during this long weekend of trainings and studies that you've done together with the Aspire team. I guess most of the things that you heard today and yesterday were devoted to cybersecurity. That's why I guess it would be pretty interesting for you to jump into a little different discussion. My idea is to unravel for you what's insider threat management, how does it deal with cybersecurity or information security whatsoever, and why would any company or governmental institution want to even do that? Before I start, I'd like to say a few words about the company that I'm representing. We come from Russia. We are over a quarter century in IT. These days, we are selling in almost 30 countries of the world. As you can see from the map, the countries marked in blue are where we are already selling or represented. The orange marks are our offices or representatives across the globe. These days, our company solutions guard over 2 million PCs across the globe. If you are interested in any references, you could look up into this list here. Gartner Magic Quadrant for DLP speaks for itself. So now coming back to the issue of defining what cyber threats are and insider threat management is. International statistics and our practice shows that over 70% of all the risks of absolutely any business actually stands for insider threat risks. Again, international statistics shows that even out of the 20 to 30% of the cyber threats, almost half of them are supported or backed by insiders. That's why we strongly believe that monitoring what is happening inside your own company, and managing, trying to mitigate, and if possible, trying to avoid as many insider threat risks as possible is way more important and way more important for any company. Anyways, this is the idea that we bring to the market. That's why our company decided to mainly focus on insider threat risks. The set of solutions that we are currently offering starts from DLP, which is more or less understood and known in the market. Risk Monitor is a comprehensive risk management platform that includes a wider range of instruments, allowing the company to fully understand who your employees are, what exactly they do well at work, to avoid as much of frauds, kickbacks, and other potential threats of the company as possible. We are doing services, and this is where we collaborate with our partners, Aspire Tech, and we are offering them an opportunity to utilize our solutions inside their SOC and to offer to Bangladeshi market as many comprehensive services, starting from cyber, ending up with insider threat management, allowing to monitor all of the risks of any Bangladeshi institution 24/7, and allowing you to avoid as many risks as possible. Let's step up and see what exactly our solutions allow you to do. And let's quickly navigate through what we are offering to you and see if it makes any sense to you and it arises any awareness or interest from your side. The tasks that are solved by our solutions are as follows: data loss prevention, risk management, user behavior analytics, software and hardware monitoring in automatic mode, time tracking and performance evaluation of your employees, especially when they work remotely or when they work from home. Our solutions also allow for investigation, user behavior analytics, and automatic profiling. Basically, we strongly believe that we offer the most comprehensive tool set, allowing to mitigate maximum amount of risks that any business can face. Our flagship solution is called the Risk Monitor, and it comprises a more or less standard tool set of a traditional DLP, allowing you to guard data in motion. Apart from that, it allows to monitor and see what's happening to your data at rest. It has the instruments that allow you for time tracking and performance evaluation. Excuse me for that. And as you can see from here, we also allow you to have the tool set that allows for individual investigation. The times when you had to invite third-party investigators in any occurrence when any information security incident would happen inside your company, or you would doubt or suspect that any information security happened, are gone now, because if you have this kind of tool set inside your company, you can actually do the discovery and investigation yourself at any time. The solution has an inbuilt OCR and a voice recognition module, which makes it a unique solution, allowing you to work with all three types of information: voice, text, and pictures of all kinds. in the end, it turns all the information into text and correlates it with the company information security policies and check for compliance to them. I guess I would be running through the solutions pretty fast in order for you to have the ability to ask questions if you want. I'm here in Bangladesh for another 2 weeks, and I'd be happy to meet any of you guys and give a deeper presentation on any of the solutions that would be of interest to your company. Next solution I want to tell you about is called the File Auditor. The solution is particularly developed for the purpose of working with data trust and compliance to existing legislation, such as the previously mentioned GDPR or any other type of personal data protection legislation, or basically any other kind of legislation. Just imagine a situation when we go on our own computers and we are trying to find some information. I guess any one of you has faced this kind of situations when you say to yourself that it's easier to go online and download the file again rather than find it on your own computer. That's exactly the reason why we're having this solution here. A lot of legislation, such as the aforementioned personal data protection legislation, would require from our companies to carefully manage the sensitive information that we possess, to carefully manage how we utilize it, who exactly has access to it, and when do we have to delete it. Now, since we previously mentioned that in many cases, we don't even know what kind of information we possess on our own machines, just imagine what kind of mess most of our companies would find inside the so-called share folders. These days, almost any company has them. And of course, the purpose of it is bright and the use of it is logical, reasonable, and very handy. But from the information security point of view, but these kind of shared folders are a potential threat, a huge threat. Reasoning for that is because whenever we share any large file that we don't want to send over email with our colleagues in that shared folder, in most of the cases, we forget about it and we leave it there forever. Secondly, we very rarely manage who exactly has access to it. Now, this particular solution has the ability to scan the whole file system of the company, tell you where exactly your sensitive information resides, add very nice and handy tags to each kind of sensitive files found, and later on track them down and see what's happening to those files, who has access to them, track down all the possible file activity operations done with them. And also, one of the great features of the solution is the ability to save up to 100 iterations of those sensitive files, therefore giving you the ability later on to track down the history of change and amendment of those files, going back to previous versions, and also to retrieve the files in case they get lost or deleted unintentionally for some reason. Next solution we are offering to the market is a SIEM. Most of the people working in cyber would definitely know this class of solutions. Information security event management systems have become a standard of the industry, especially in the BFSI sector these days. So I wouldn't stop too much at what the solution is. I'll just quickly mention the advantages of utilizing particularly our solution. it really has very low hardware and software requirements compared to any big names on the market. It's very reasonably priced. It's not priced as most of the big solutions on the market based on number of iterations per second inside your network. Our solution requires only calculating the number of nodes that would be later on connected to the SIEM. The solution is an out-of-the-box software solution, and therefore it has 300 plus pre-built policies which start working automatically as soon as you deploy the solution and you add a new connector to it. As soon as a new connector is detected, automatically 20, 30 to 40 policies would start being applied to each connector. This is an example of an incident display screen which showcases how simple and user-friendly our solution is. Another great advantage of our SIEM is that you don't have to learn a new language of programming, and you don't have to call for the vendor or the integrator that sold you this solution in order to implement a new policy or fine-tune the solution to your needs. It's really very well understandable. We deliver a training during any POC of our solutions. Therefore, all you need to apply is basic logics and common sense in order to further work with this solution and develop it yourself. Next solution is a database monitor. We all understand that databases are the places that contain our most sensitive information of any company. We all understand that large enterprises these days have a huge number of databases, and in most of the cases, the company owners don't even know how many databases they have. These days, almost any department would have their own database. Legal department would have a database of contracts. Accounting would have their own databases. Sales department would have their own. So now the solution allows you to, first off, understand and revise what kind of databases you have, where they keep them, how many you have, and so on. Secondly, it allows you to guard this information and it alerts you about any critical situation when the users are attempting to download vast amounts of information or delete it for some reason, or do some other inappropriate and unauthorized activities to those databases. It actually works as a proxy server and stands in between the user and the database itself. A great feature of the solution is that it doesn't treat third-party applications that previously were granted access to the database as normal activity, regardless of what you do and regardless of how you access your database, be it a third-party application, be it a direct query, be it a command line query, or any other type of access to the database. It would be treated as potential threat, double-checked, and always alerted about abnormal activity. As you can see from this slide actually represents the evolution of attention to the list of solutions that I previously mentioned. Traditionally, it would only be interesting to the information security and risk management departments. These days, we are facing more and more situations when our solutions are requested by such departments as HR, internal audit, internal control, operational control, COO's office, and so on and so forth. as for me, in best case scenario, I'd say that if the risk management strategy is built properly inside a company, the potential of this kind of solutions is huge, and all of these mentioned departments could definitely benefit from them. Therefore, again, if the strategy and the approach to risk management inside the company is built properly, then the information received from such systems could be divided and split it and shared between all of these departments, so all of them could make use of it and really benefit. I'm done with my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and I'm ready to answer all of your questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for insightful presentation. And just to say, it was on time, and we will be having question answer session. So let me check that if we have any questions. Yes, we have one question. That is, how do Searchinform measure a subjective thing from employee morale?
Basically, the strongest feature of our solutions is the analytics of personal communications of the employees. This is the base on which we try to monitor user behavior analytics, morale, the way people behave and the way they treat their jobs, how loyal they are to the company, and so on and so forth. First 10 years of company's history were devoted to elaborating our own search engine, which was particularly intended to look for particular information in large masses of unstructured data. This search engine has become the core value of the Risk Monitor solution. It allows to do really deep context and content analytics of text and communication, and it allows to go deep into understanding of what real desires of your employees are and how do they feel about working with this or that company.
Sir, there we have another question.
Yeah, I see it.
How to make proper plan to mitigate risk?
Basically, there's a lot of approaches. I will not be able to give you the right one right away. It really depends on the exact community or company that you are representing right now. It depends on the approach to risk management inside your company. There's a lot of information about it on the web, and I'm sure you will find a proper one for yourself, maybe ready-made, or maybe you can find 2 or 3 approaches and then, you know, combine them together and build something that suits yourself better. Any other questions, gentlemen? Adam?
Sorry, I was inaudible. I was inaudible. Sorry for them. Sorry, my sincere apologies. Another question we have, that is, to monitor database, do you use any agent deployment in database server?
Yeah, most of our solutions are agent to server architecture, and they would require deployment of agents on the servers and on the machines as well.
Well, we still have 2 minutes, but as I'm seeing, there are no more question and answer session. Thank you for insightful speech and your gracious presence in our session.